welcome, welcome. I know this is kind of unexpected, but we just wanted to come on and say hello and let you know about our new show. And of course, I have my friend here. Do you want to introduce yourself and your name and tell us all about who you are, what your channel is, just so we can get to know you?
I'm going by my middle name's Lee, but I'm now going by Lee Jane. I'll get to that at some time when I do a bigger interview, even though a lot of people know me as Ryan Hathaway, as far as that goes. And my channel is basically called a Day Off, and it's going to be about praise and compassion. I'm going to be doing different things. I just put up my first video today. I did an interview with one of the Jain nuns. I'll be doing different religious people talking about compassion of that, different people volunteering, veganism, whole food plant-based cooks that are it's going to be more on the vegan side as far as that, not just about health and stuff. But and I will be doing another interview to really introduce myself. But right now, that's kind of the gist of it. So, but we're also, as Jen's going to bring up, going to be doing a live show Monday, me and her, which we're just kind of practicing right now. So that's my beginning.
Yes. And that's one of the reasons I found it so interesting because, as you guys know, over time, I started this as like, a diet basically. And I was saying I was raw vegan, but when it came down to it, I didn't learn what the true word veganism meant until about 6 months later. And what it really, like, I loved or Lee. I don't know. What do
Oh,
you,
either one's fine. Like I
okay.
said, the reason I went Lee
I just
is
cannot do
if I
it.
get people from other countries, I
I
think
like Lee.
Lee's easier to speak, but I don't have a preference at all. Like it's not like that's my new name. But when I introduce myself, especially if they're from Mexico or Africa and stuff, I just thought Lee is just a heck of a lot. And when I speak to people from India, like everyone's like, "How do you pronounce Ryan?" or "How do you
Right,
pronounce?"
right. So like
Well,
Lee.
Lee is just a lot, easier.
It'll
So
come off in a minute. I'll get used to it. But I think because I originally, like when someone gets married and they change their name, you'll always still say their name.
oh yeah,
Like
all my
I'll
friends,
always still
all my
say
female
my
friends,
wrong
I
one.
do that to this day. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, like I said, it's not a personal thing whatsoever. So
It's like me, like half the people I know call me JJ and half the people I know call me Jen, and they'll never switch out, it seems like. You know what I mean? They're just used to it.
yeah,
But I was gonna say, like, my channel is vegan knowledge, and I feel like because of my really when I took an interest in nutrition, I focused a lot of the content, especially the other show I'm doing, the Amazing Plants Formations, is really about, I mean, obviously we talk a little bit about the spiritual part of veganism, but what I thought was so interesting about Ryan is and Lee, my friend Ryan here, and I know it didn't matter, right? But he talks a lot about compassion, and that's really his focus. And I think there's a misunderstanding, or not even like, especially for new vegans, like what is veganism? What does it mean? What does it and what is compassion? In all of our lives where we're talking about whether humans or animals or compassion for yourself. And I found it really interesting, and I wanted to bring more of that to the channel. And I wanted to also, we were talking about doing an interview, and we just started talking, and we came up like these really in-depth conversations. And he was like, this is definitely worthy of doing a show.
well, yeah, and I just think it's fun to chat with this type thing. I figured since we're doing it anyways, I thought other people might hop on, find it entertaining because I do notice on other channels, I think there's just a big group that people like things doing live. Looks like you got someone named Carol or Carl saying hi to you.
Carl, yes.
Carl.
Hello, family. Hi, Carl. Good to see you. And so happy to see you, JD. I know I haven't been on it, well, since what? When did I do the interview with Sky? Was that last Monday already?
Yeah,
I think
Monday.
it was. Oh my goodness. So well, today's not Monday. I got confused. I forgot today's Friday. So I was like, it didn't feel like a
Well,
week because
today's
it hasn't quite
Saturday,
been one. Today is Saturday?
isn't it? Hold it. Am I off?
No, I think today's Friday.
Oh yeah, it is Friday. Yes, you're right. We with the holiday, the Jane Festival. I keep thinking it's starting on Sunday, so I keep thinking today's Saturday, but it
That's what I
ends.
wanted to say. Would you explain that to everyone? Because I didn't even know what Jane was before
Well,
you brought it up.
Later we'll get more of a discussion. What I did want to bring up is I did my first YouTube interview on Dale Off, which is with one of the nuns as far as that, and she's actually on there, and I'm having an interview with her where she explains Jainism and the holiday
Oh,
coming.
cool.
But real briefly, as far as that goes, Jainism is basically very big focus on compassion. They believe every living creature, even like bugs, trees, and everything, has a soul. So, and to grow and get to know your true soul, as far as that, is the least amount of harm you can do. As far as that, that's a very, very generic way of saying it as far as that. So a good example, Mahatma Gandhi, even though he did Hinduism, his mother was Jain. So a lot of his nonviolent protests actually was came from a lot of the Jainism as far as that. So, but Jainism is actually the first recording of vegetarianism is from Jain scriptures, as far as that, and historical.
Wow.
As far as that. So if you want to get truly into what vegetarian like that, now Jains most of the time still eat milk. They don't eat eggs or anything, because back in the day in Hinduism, dairy cows were treated very well. So it wasn't like you were milking the cows and there would be extra milk. So it was ate like that. Now many Jains are going vegan because of how the industry was. It used to be a thing that cows were free in India. They would feed them so well, you'd have extra milk. So that's why back in the day, the dairy, and it's still, that's something to start to switch out as far as that. So, but now I think Jainism's going dairy free because it's all about compassion. So, but true Jains nuns don't even eat root vegetables. They'll wear things over their mouth so they don't kill things in the air. Like that's, you're talking like, it's kind of like Catholicism. You're talking like priests as far as that, like lay people like that. So, but that's a very generic, or as far as that, like I said, I really like people definitely go to that YouTube. I'm going to do other videos, but have coming from someone actually from India that's knows much more educated than me, instead of having some white guy explain,
Right, right.
that,
Well, I
yeah.
love that you want to bring, like, one of the other things I thought was really cool about your message and your channel is that you are so interested and careful, even when it comes down to even the name and everything, to want to really open veganism up to more well-rounded cultural experience, because we find that there are vegans in obviously every culture, but there's the way you're bringing that compassion, as this is what our core is compassion, and everyone kind of building their relationship and their around that, as opposed to the other things that makes us different, if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah. And the other big thing is I want to bring in the vegan culture of all different cultures. Like there's a big movement in Mexico and stuff like that, and there's this whole just white vegan trend, which is, as far as that goes, I want to show it's not just rich white people as far as that goes. Like I want to show how like that native and stuff, like it's actually coming everywhere, which ironically the white guy is the one trying to show
I
us
assure you that
cultures
it's
as
not
far as
only
that.
rich white
Yeah,
people, because I'm definitely nowhere near that.
not
Right?
rich, but yeah.
But I know what you mean. That's
Yeah.
and I think that's what we need to really, another thing we're going to address in this that we talked about is just really cutting out some of the myths too, and the misconceptions.
Well, and we at some point I like to discuss what veganism means, because it did kind of change. Like Donald Watson, when he started, and the reason it gets confused is when he did start because of compassion for animals. Like got to speak with him, and it was when he saw a pig get butchered and stuff. Now, where a lot of people get very confused is when he started the Vegan Society, there's a gentleman named Cross, and he came in and he was very big animal activist. And this is the 1940s. And Donald Watson didn't want to go that extreme. He did just want it to be about what you eat, not as far as that goes, because it was 1940s and stuff like that. But it was always about compassion and stuff like that. And then Donald, the Cross guy, he didn't get kicked out, but he kind of pushed Donald Watts out because he was very extreme. But then later, Donald, I'm probably getting the name wrong. I'm really bad. That's my
Donald Watson, I think you're right. Yeah.
Watson came back as far as that. And in the night, and then he passed away when in his 90s. And as he got older, he's like, okay, vegan is the philosophy, and then there is the diet. And his whole reason of not really pushing the clothing is because he wanted to make it easier for people. Because in 1940, you were hopping on Amazon and ordering your vegan shoes. Like it was very different. So just getting people to just not eat dairy and meat was a big thing. But unfortunately, a lot of people now, like not trying to be a jerk about the whole food plant based, are saying, "Oh, Watson was all about the diet." No, no, it's always about compassion using the diet type thing. He was just not wanting to come off as extreme to open it up. It's kind of be like Christianity. You have Christians are all about loving Jesus, stuff like that, but then you get the extreme people are like, oh, all these people are, they're really extremes. Well, and then the other people in religions like, oh no, we want to be, not militant about it type thing. Doesn't mean they didn't have the same. Both Cross and Watson didn't have compassion for animals. They just had different angles of coming at it type thing. But now, fortunately, I feel like they're trying to act like, oh, it was all about health and stuff as far as that, which Watson did care about health, and he was more worried about health because he wanted to prove that you could be a healthy vegan. But once again, it was less about his own health as trying to convince people to be vegan. And at the end, he was like, oh no, we should avoid all, because now you can get, leather-free shoes and all that stuff. By the time 2000s, there's a lot of options like as far as that. It's like, it's much more realistic to avoid animal products. But in 1940, I mean, heck, they didn't think black and white people should date at that time. I mean,
exactly,
as far as
right?
that, I mean, it was a little different. You got to do what you can with the culture, but it's all evolving. So they take a lot of stuff that he said in 1940s and don't realize he evolved type thing as far as that. So,
And
but
I
he was
want to
never.
talk about evolving, because I think as a vegan, as a new person, like you said, you might come into it based on a diet, but like with what happened to me, and then like even like 2 years later, I realized how animals were exploited. Like not even when it comes to food or clothing, I realized just so many little things where we exploit animals, like horse racing, or even like football. In other words, they used to call the ball the pigskin. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
these
yeah,
little things that evolve over time, and then all the way down to like just what we say, like phrases. You know what I mean? It's so funny that it doesn't really click, because you're just worried about one thing at a time. Like you can't be everything at once, and you never like people get caught in, like we talked about this too. You bring this up, perfectionism. You have
yeah,
to, we start out really, some people really like hardcore, like I'm never even looking at somebody who eats meat, like
yeah,
something
yeah.
like that. And then you realize in real life you have to gel in with society. I don't want to cut us off, but before it gets too far past that, do you want to answer Carl's question? I don't know how long he can stay. He's a busy
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I'm
do
sorry, I didn't
you
even notice that.
do
Yeah.
japa or mantras? He said, I love Hindu mantras. I do quite a few, mainly to relax, but I want to learn more. Maybe that he was asking, I'm sure that to you.
Oh, I mean, mine's Jane Montrez as far as that. If you're welcome to reach out to me as far as that. I mean, where's Carl from?
He is, I think, are you from UK, maybe? I think.
Okay, I'm trying to get a time zone in there. I guess saying I was like I go even give you link. I get up the if you go to my YouTube thing, you'll see that as far as that goes. Now, one thing I do want to say, Jainism, a big thing with us is we do not want try to get other people to be Jains. We actually believe in every religion is on the right track as far as that. So also I'm very big about connecting as far as that. But we do mantras very similar to Hinduism as far as that goes. But as I say, you're always what I could always like show you as far as that goes, different videos and stuff. So, and like I said, when I talk about Jainism, one reason I call myself Jain, I'll get into it, is though they do believe there's not a perfect religion, we're all going at the same thing. So I have many, like on my channel, I'm going to be interviewing Christians, atheists, Sikhs as far as that, and talk about their compassion as far as that. For us, it's all about compassion. We're all part of the human family as far as that goes. Hindu and Jains are very close over in India as far as that goes. So, but if you like Hindu mantras, Jain mantras, I mean, they overlap very much. I mean, as far as that goes. So, but yeah,
That's
with
cool.
that, I don't know what the exact question was, but I like mantras too, and I as
Yeah,
well.
you guys have to both tell me. I don't even know what a mantra is.
Oh,
I've heard
mantra's kind of just like a singing
like
prayer.
okay, like a
Singing
prayer. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
singing
Think
prayer.
about it in life. If you have a mantra, like my mantra is,
Oh, right. That's where I've heard the word, but
So
I
that's
just
where the word mantra comes from, but it's usually more sing song. Like, you do a prayer, but the mantra will a lot of times you'll say it over and over to keep you focused. Like, I mean,
well, you
mantra could
will
be like,
leave that
I,
because no one wants to hear me sing
yeah,
anything. I've
what does
heard.
that even be?
That's just
Sing could be
like
like, my mantra could be, I'm gonna be compassionate. You could be, I'm gonna be
right.
compassionate. I'm gonna be compassionate. But in Hinduism and Jainism and in Buddhism too, I should actually add that in as well. Are
Mhm.
very, as far as that goes, their mantras are very beautiful because they're in the Hindu language and that's where you will hear, and then you get people like me that, you know, I keep myself muted when we do it because no one needs to hear me when I do it type thing. So,
Right.
but
It's gonna
yeah,
be
yeah.
like a very like I always commend people that pray and stuff online because sometimes prayer can be very private too, just within yourself. So it's really cool to experience both sides of that. And he said that I love the care that Jainism has for all living beings. Yeah, that's why I found it so intriguing and that I've not heard of that. And I know like 7 day. What is the
7 Day Advent,
Yes.
wonderful religion,
Uh,
wonderful people.
they that's the first time like when actually looked it up I was like is there a religion that's vegan, and for some reason the Jainism didn't come up. Probably I don't know if you know
Well,
how search engines are, and I'm like
well,
wow
Jane's
this
not
one is
technically vegan; it's vegetarian because once again,
because
back
of
in the
the cow.
day, that's
Yeah.
how we took care. And they still, most Jains, especially the older generation,
Hmm.
still does it just like us in America type thing. So the newer generation is pushing, especially now that Jane's come to the United States, especially our dairy industry. Now India's dairy industry has become that way, but I think 20, 30 years ago, like people I know I talk over, they're like, oh no, our cows, they have them, they roam, they would come up, to our family, we'd give them our veggie scraps from our vegetarian, they always like to eat, and then we'd milk them because if you didn't milk them, it was painful because they, it's not like
Right,
they're in the
just like
wild,
a
they get overfed.
human
So
that's
then you would use that milk,
lactating.
but you never took the milk from the baby. It was always extra milk as far as that.
And
We're
see
very,
that's so
we're
interesting.
very far from that now. But
Right, like I mean if we don't listen to each other, like as far as each religion, or whether we're talking races or each culture, like that perception immediately when you hear someone saying oh I'm drinking milk, and then if you think about it like in their view they were actually being compassionate to the cow. It's strange, right? Like that's why we have to really listen to like understand each other before we judge. I think you know what I mean, because that made
oh, yeah.
complete sense what you just
Well,
said.
and it all depends where you come. I mean, I grew up on a pig farm. My dad's side of the family were dairy farmers. I mean, my best friend's a butcher. He respects my opinion and stuff like that. He has to feed his family and stuff like that. One thing that always does irritate me about vegans is when they put up is like, I can't understand why anyone would eat meat. Now, unless you grew up vegetarian, I'm like, how long have you been vegan for?
Me, oh
Yeah,
5 years. Come
yeah,
on this April will be, I think, well I'll be
okay,
coming up on 6,
but
but
like 5 years. But you
yeah
have,
my whole life,
you
right.
you haven't posted it. You're like, I don't understand why people eat meat. Well, what about the other 40 years or 30 years?
Right, right.
You forget about that. Like, we got to be empathetic. Like, in
Yeah.
order for us to people to understand where we're coming from, we need to understand where they're coming from. And for me, there's a difference between the animal industry, which is just awful, the big things, and then the farmers that they're kind of raised that way. It's kind of like tobacco farming. A lot of tobacco farmers weren't trying to give people cancer. It's just they were trying to feed their family as far as
Hmm.
that. So yeah. And also how the farm, that's the other reason, like, I don't always call myself vegan because vegan just falls into it. But I have compassion for all living beings. So I'm also anti-meat industry, not just for the animals, how the, underprivileged people, they take advantage of that type thing as far as that. Like for me, it's all life as far as that connects. So, but if I'm gonna, care about the ant to, human being, obviously animals fall into that category. Like to me, everything deserves love and respect as far as that goes. But you also got to be compassionate where people are coming from, find them where they're at and bring them in type thing. So I'm not a militant vegan. Like the reason I like to specify the word vegan is I don't care if you say I eat a vegan diet, but when you say I am vegan, I think it's important because like this, if you kind of stop ahead of time, that's to me, that's the next step. Like I kind of think of it as what is it when you eat fish? Uh,
Pescatarian.
Pescatarian, and then you got vegetarian. Actually, I would go first. We can start off. I'm eating free range eggs, cruelty free meat. Which, let's be honest, that's BS. That's there's no
Right,
such thing as
right.
true.
Totally,
But then you
totally.
go, the I can never. say the fish, eat the fish,
Mhm.
then the next one's vegetarian. And then it's
Well, I
like,
get
okay,
that a lot. I was telling you when we were
yeah,
talking about that. Like, I'll tell someone I'm vegan, or wear it on my shirt or whatever, and then they will come up, start asking like different things. Well, don't you eat fish or don't you eat this?
yeah,
And it's like, I think the when we bring vegan back to compassion, which was why I really loved your mantra. Let's go with that, right? I had to use the word again, like about compassion really is the core of it if you think about it, because that brings you to from looking at it as a diet. Yeah, that's part of it as a diet, but it would be
well,
just like I'm a human, but I also might do this. It's like I'm not vegan, but I eat food that's not an
yeah.
animal, but I also
Well,
try not to participate and exploit animals.
and that's what I was gonna say when I was saying then you go vegetarian, but then to me the next step is whole food plant based or just plant based. Then the next step is vegan. To me,
Hmm.
it's like free range Presbyterian or not Presbyterian religion, pescatarian, vegetarian, plant based. You change your diet, which is Donald Watson, and then when you go into philosophy, to me that's when you're vegan. Now you're looking at leather shoes, leather stuff like that. Within
Hmm.
reason. I have
Within reason.
leather. I have leather in my car because I have to buy a used car, and I don't have the privilege of picking out. I don't want leather in
Right,
my car.
right. Have a car
I
custom
have to
made,
buy the
right?
car that's in my range, and I don't. I mean, in a perfect world, I'd be filthy rich. I would get a hybrid car, probably like a Subaru or something like that, and I would definitely have no leather in it.
Yeah.
Ryan doesn't have that option, so Ryan has to do the best he can, as far as
And
that. So
that's exactly it. I think people don't, within our means, with what we have to work with as best we can, and evolving each year. Each year I learn something new and try
yeah,
to eliminate something, or you know what I mean? I never thought about when I was first vegan at all, like, I don't drink anymore, but like when I did, I never thought when I was ordering a drink out, let's just say when I first went vegan, I didn't think about was this wine vegan until later on I realized that not all wine was vegan. You just think, you know what I mean? Why would there be meat in my wine? But there's like a whole
or
thing
like
of where, and then
sugar,
like your
sugar being filtered through
shoes, like you
bones.
said, your my makeup, different things you just don't realize it in the beginning that you even have to pay attention, that you do kind of later on if you have the choice. Like you said, some people
Yeah,
can't, wouldn't be able to not have the same car, and then there's a whole thing of you don't want to throw away things that you already have because that's wasteful, right? So
to me,
like,
environmental, you gotta be compassionate like that. Like me, I'll buy leather from a used thrift store. I don't
mhm,
like leather, but I have no issue because I'm not giving money to that company. I'm stopping waste from going to the environment as far as that goes. I'm never gonna buy anything new, and I don't like leather, but I'm saying like if I buy jeans that has like Levi leather on it type thing, or even if I did get a leather, as long as it's used, because you're not supporting the industry, you're actually usually, especially if you buy it from like Waif that's here, or we have a lot of thrift stores that like Waif's a humane society that all the money goes to animals, so why not buy
mhm,
a leather
right,
used coat that was donated, that as far as that goes. But I'm never gonna buy a brand new leather coat as far as that goes. So but it
exactly.
also depends where you're at. Like I have that privilege as far as that goes. I'm going to learn how to maybe you do food for life and teach people whole food plant based cooking. I like to do it for underprivileged communities. I can't ask them to do all the same things that we're doing type thing. Can't even ask them to be 100% whole food. If you're using food stamps, you're going to the food bank and stuff, you don't have that privilege of ordering dates off of Amazon. Like you're just trying to feed your family. Just do the best you can, be as healthy as possible, and you should be happy for that type thing. Now if you're rich and you have the money, I don't know, you don't really have an excuse not to be vegan. You can have the top type stuff. I mean, there's some of these YouTubers you'll see on, love them to death and everything, but they'll be on, their cruise, and then they have their specialty chef, they're doing YouTube things in their room making them food. I'm like, that's a whole
Yeah.
different disconnect as far as that goes, as far as that. And then in the Black community, veganism is becoming very big. It's actually, I think they say, it might be bigger than even white people as far as that, but for some reason that's overlooked. For some reason, and I'd like to bring that in, and like in
Hmm.
Mexico, it's a big movement because before they are colonized, the Europeans came. The true natives of Mexico really didn't eat dairy. That was brought to them. They ate a very low meat diet. So all this is I find it interesting as far as
That's
that goes.
very interesting.
Yeah.
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 I love that you
I
bring
like
that
Carl
up
put
there.
mindful steps, etc. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And I also
Because
want to point out with the vegan thing, if you screw up and you eat meat sometimes, not sometimes, like that, or you break into the weakness and stuff like that, I still don't say you're not vegan, but I also don't believe in I'm a cheating vegan. I allow myself to eat meat type thing. It's kind of like alcoholism. You're gonna slip up. You're gonna make mistakes. Don't beat yourself up. Just get up. But on the flip side, it's like alcoholism. You don't want to be like, oh, I'm gonna allow myself meat when I go out and eat. I'm saying, you know, me, I'm finally pretty good. I can do it well, but I'll be honest, back in my early 20s, well, no, I was pretty good on it back. But for a lot of people, it'd be hard. Like they go back home to their family, and it's you got that Pavlov dog effect. A lot of people are like, why do you crave meat and dairy? I'm like, because that was a lot of people. That's how their
that's how our
grandmother.
childhood was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how your mother shows you love. So you have that connection with it. So that's a harder, especially when you go back and stuff like that. You know, when I go home, I'm craving my mom's the cookies she made. That was the big thing as far as that. Now,
And I
luckily, I
think
can
that's why
veganize them. There's no
I will
problem. But
put down the foods that like they have out now, like the alternatives, because for the most majority of general public, a lot of our food is connected emotionally. So whether
yep,
you're a healthy person and you don't want to eat processed food, but sometimes you, if you go home and you're trying to emulate Thanksgiving dinner, or if you just want, like, you know what, I'm feeling down, I used to eat ice cream when I'm down, that way you don't go back to eating dairy.
yeah,
You have that dairy alternative, or you have that meat alternative to have that, grill with people,
I think it's
it
wonderful that they
definitely
have
makes
them.
sense. Yeah.
I mean, I think we should have the attitude they're not healthy foods, but that's fine. You don't need to be
Mhm.
perfect all the time. You know, same thing with oil. Like I'm not oil free, but if I have oil, I'm not eating oil because it's good for my health. It's just like if someone's gonna have a drink or a cocktail, if you're gonna have it, acknowledge it's a treat. It's a
Mhm.
like that. If I drink a soda type thing, I'm not drinking soda because I don't really drink a lot of soda unless October Halloween time. That's kind of the time I really because I'm all about my horror movies, which is ironic being
You and
Jane
Kathy get along for that reason, I know.
but that's where I really want my popcorn and my soda pop. And if I go
I
to a
have to
movie,
introduce you to my sister because she
oh yeah,
loves her horror movies, and I'm like total opposite. I don't want to watch anything weird, bad, upsetting. I'm
and
like,
I
and
can't
she's
watch the
into
news.
all
I
of
have
it.
a totally disconnect. Yeah, one of the coolest. You know who Rob Zombie is the
Yes, let
musician.
me put this on mute because a fire
Go
truck is
ahead.
going. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, but Rob Zombie, he's the rock musician, does a lot of horror movies. He's very vegan. He's a really cool guy. You should listen to interviews like him. It's funny you see him, everyone thinks of him as some druggy alcohol rock person, but he's all about organic farming. He's been married to the same woman. Like if you didn't know who Rob Zombie looked like, and you saw him on paper, you would think he was like this very straight laced guy type thing. So as far as
Right.
and believe it or not, the horror movie society, there's a lot of vegan, vegetarian in it type thing. So
Well, there's a
takes a
guy like Vegan Zombie. You ever watched his channel?
I used to, but I jumped off of him because I think he's they're too militant for me. They got so I was on there and they were just attacking people. But I do like his stuff as far as
I
that
don't
goes.
know like a lot about it, but I just saw that. I know the name. I'm like, I assume he's like a. It might not be Vegan Zombie. It
It's
might be.
vegan zombie. No, you're
He
totally
makes
right. No, he's
movies,
vegan
right?
zombie. He's really into horror movies, and he's making a zombie movie, and he does a lot of veganism stuff in it.
Okay, so it
Well,
was
I
that.
watched forever, but there's a few, and I got in the chats. You know how we were talking about there, and that's where I like to make sure I'm separate from that. Like I'm
Mhm.
not like where I'm saying there's a difference between being vegan and whole food plant based. I'm also not bashing people for that because I think it's awesome type thing.
We're never
Yeah.
gonna get people to like. There are. I've said this before. Like there will be a few people who see something or hear something, but if people feel judged for something that you used to do, like you have to. In a compassionate way is how we have to bring the message to people too, because if you do it the wrong way, like you said, people are going to run the other way and say, and it's a fine line because I know I have the same emotions that the angry vegans have. We all do. We don't like what's going on in the world around us, but we have
Well,
to, I think, also be considerate to your point that we all haven't been vegan forever, and how we say it could lead someone to it or it could move them further away.
you never know what someone's going through. Like I think when we do an interview with me, when I actually talk about my story, but I guess I'll say it twice. But there was one time this dude was hardcore anti-vegan, blah blah. Man, just my drinking days like that. I knew I freaking put him in his place, blah blah like that. You know, we're all about you piece of crap, blah blah. Dude goes home, takes a shotgun, blows his brains out in his dad's porch. That totally changed me. I'm like, what
Oh,
the
I'm
hell did I?
sorry.
Yeah, which a lot of people that are so angry at vegans and stuff like that is because they have their own anger and emotion going on. So you
Mhm.
got to kind of remember where's this anger coming from? Because deep down, I don't think anyone wants to hurt animals. It's just that they're hurting inside, and people are scared and intimidated by this. I mean, as far as that, so
I
there
think
is that compassion aspect of it. You have to be compassionate for people coming from that. You know.
your story to me is so intriguing. I know we want to save that for your interview, but just based on how you grew up and that type of being around that type of industry, and to have made like a 360-degree turn, and to be so compassionate and so vegan, because I
Well,
think they're not connected. Like, we forget that we were all compassionate our whole life before we were vegan too. Like, it doesn't mean that we all of a sudden became compassionate. That's always in there. We just were compassionate and didn't have that connection
yeah.
with like what
Well,
we're eating and what we're loving in some ways.
in that growing up in that, it's English, and I grew up in a different type of. I guess we'll get into it in my interview. I don't.
We
A
can
lot of
get
times,
into
a lot
it
of
a little. That's fine.
bad things coming there, but I also like to remind my father is and my brother. You know, we're pig farmers. My brother passed away. Another thing is I didn't go home for the farm for a while because I kind of was cutting my family out being vegan type thing, and then your brother dies at 44, and it's like, oh,
Hmm.
man, I spent so much time being a freaking a hole, which was I missed out on some stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm so
As
sorry.
far
And
as
it
that,
brought you back kind of, you know,
there's I've had a lot of different stuff working at a raw food restaurant, as far as that goes, and as far as that, and that's why I really consider myself Jane, because I just have compassion for everything, and veganism falls into it as far as that. I mean, I do call myself vegan because I hit all the boxes, but I think it's Gandhi. No, it is not. I don't think, but I don't know that quote, but he even made a comment once that he knows vegetarians are more violent than non-vegetarians. Like Gandhi was very big about being compassionate towards non-vegetarians. Talking about if you're not eating animals, but you're still being angry and hateful in other ways, you're you're still a violent person. Like, you
yeah,
know,
let's
yeah,
not forget that
not
we
yeah,
all have to
yeah,
love humans, right?
yeah, humans and everything. So yeah, but but anyways, we are getting way off. Our thing is
I
our
know.
name for our class for our group.
Okay, so yeah, that's awesome. And that's where we wanted everyone to come in. Like, we're going to do a poll, I think, on Monday, right? Well, after
Well,
you
we'll
have the
throw out
week
the
to think about
names if we find one we agree on. If not,
it.
if it's a
Okay. Yeah, or when you watch this, you can always comment underneath with your
yep,
opinion of it. So by then we'll probably have a name, right? Because we'll have to have the thumbnail made. But do you want to like
yeah,
maybe give them
I don't think we have to have the thumbnail name, but yeah, I'm still loosey goosey, I
well,
guess.
by month? I mean, to put up a name of the show, we can always re-enter it later. Yeah. So we'll
Well, I'm saying if me and you haven't agreed on like one and we're down to three, maybe we'll say this is choose our name poll type thing. Well,
So
let's
I like
discuss
Vegan Knowledge JJ is cool. That's our first choice. I'm just playing.
it. So your list, because I kind of like the list that you gave. Sorry, I keep hitting around. Here's the ones off.
Oh,
Do
you know
you?
what? I'm gonna go grab my phone and put it. Actually, I can also upload it so we can
Okay, yeah,
post
let's do
this.
that.
Okay, that way you don't have to
And while I
read
do
it.
that, I guess I'll say hi to Carl from the UK. What part of the UK are you from, Carl? I'm a caregiver. I work for I take care of someone with autism. Their mother's from Ireland. And I might sound like an idiot. Is Ireland part of the UK? I think it is. I might be wrong. And I think it's Northern Ireland that's not. But I'll be honest, I'm not the most sharpest person. So
I'm not very geographically good either. So
I've gotten better about knowing locations of the UK because I've been into a lot of game shows and with her being from Ireland and stuff. But I still get what's Britain, what's the UK, what's England, a little bit gets dicey, confused for me type thing. So, but Carl, if you're still there, yeah, like, are you actually in England? I'd be curious. So, audience rules.
I'm in Maryland, the Maryland part of the UK. I'm just
Oh, I was like, I know you're in Maryland. So, well, Carl might not be on here still. So,
or he may not want to say where he is.
oh, that's
Either
too
way,
awesome.
he can message it to you.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, and I wasn't asking for, oh, Scotland. Oh, cool. There's someone
Yeah, we
in
won't tell
Kathy's,
everyone.
there's someone in Kathy's group that's from, I think, comes in from Scotland all the time. Is that you by chance, Carl? For some reason, I want to say it was a female, but I'm not the best about that.
Kathy
Remember.
Hester.
Yeah, Kathy Hester. I'm sorry, I shouldn't or assume as far as that everyone's in there.
I met Carl, I think, on Raw Intuition, if I'm not mistaken, like in the chat there, or when I was on the game show. I feel like that's where I knew Carl from. But like, you know, when you know people, like you forget where it actually originated. Like,
well, and I've also found out, like, if you're on like no, that's fun. What's fun? I'm not quite sure what was fun. But I say, if you're like, I'll notice I'll be like, oh, I'm on Kathy's live, and then I hop onto the physician's live, and it's the exact same people, and then you hop on with Chef AJ, same people. So there's groupie. I not calling them groupies, but there are certain people I'll see the exact same people, like Angela Boomer and Beyond. Man, I see her everywhere. Like, she's also on us.
yes, I love Angela. She's coming on September 11th on here. She's gonna do a workout video for us.
Oh, Kathy. Yes, Kathy is vegan.
Remember the one we did with the vegan ice cream, Carl? I don't know if you were watching at that time. Oh, that's really fun.
Kathy herself is not Scottish, but when you're part of her heartbeat group and her live things, you kind of have the same family that chats a lot. And there's someone in the chats, kind of like you are, that's always saying hi from Scotland. So I thought maybe that was you as far as that. Kathy in her, I think they're married. Yeah, I'm almost positive they're married. Her and Cheryl are from North Dakota or North Carolina. Man, I am so bad
North
at that.
Carolina, I think.
Yeah. Now they're not raw. They're now doing whole food plant based, but Kathy's actually been around forever in the vegan community. Hers is typically like slow cooker and stuff. But yeah, Kathy's very similar to JJ. She's a very sweet, open type thing. I highly recommend her. So because I'll be honest, there's a lot of YouTube whole food plant based and vegan stuff. I can only take so much of because it's just a lot of negativity and just complaining about other people. So where Kathy's a very warm, the whole group there is very warm and loving as far as that goes, which I'm hoping very actually similar to the people, on Jen's page as far as that goes. And hopefully that all works. So
I'm trying to find, oh, there it is. I was like, I'm trying to load this up. Sorry if I was looking down the list. So
no, you're fine.
Put it up. Let me see if it downloaded, and then I can load it in the restream here. They changed the format. You know how people do like they do an upgrade to their website, and it's confused the heck out of me. I'm used to the old way of doing things, and they think it's a lot better. But in my opinion, in restream, I might go back to the old layout. I saw where it gives me an option. Now I can't find where that option went. Before when I was looking for it. So I think I put this on, I think Dawn told me overlay is what I want so people can really see it. I'm going to load it. Let's see what it looks like. Let's see.
And real quick, I will remind you at 4:00, I technically have that book club, but we're not doing a book right now. So I'm going to open my Zoom. Yeah, no, we should be fine. No one's been there the last 2 weeks because we're not starting our book until next week. As far as that, but I do like to turn it on. So if someone does pop on, they're not coming. So if all of a sudden like, hey, I'm gonna go holler at somebody here, that's what's going on with that.
Yeah, and like I guess you want to like wrap it up in
it's part of Kathy Hester's group, by the way. So
Yeah, everybody join. I love Kathy. I'm an affiliate for her book, as you guys see me always posting about it. I love what she does. Like her personality, definitely. Like Angela Fischetti, actually from Boomer and Beyond Wellness, introduced me to Kathy, and that's where I started watching her. And then I asked her to, like, if she would do an interview, and I knew she has like so many followers. I'm always like amazed when someone's like, "Yeah, I'll come on," and I'm like, "Oh my goodness, okay." So this is cool. And like I hadn't even, there's so many people out there that I love that we all kind of introduce our, like, to different people, like, "Hey, did you ever check this out?" Because like whenever I can find good people, and also if somebody you really respect and like their message, if they refer you, it's usually mutual.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I feel like there's a few sub communities in the vegan where I'm not just talking like raw and stuff. Because also, speaking of raw, Carl, do you know Chef Yin?
Yeah, I bet he does, because I know Chef Yin.
Okay. Oh, well, I'm sure you saw when she stayed with Kathy. As far as that, Chef Yin stayed with Kathy, and they did as far as that goes. And Kathy does do some stuff like that. But if you know Chef Yin, so but I say I feel like there are different communities starting to come up, and I feel like there's I call the angry vegan community, the whole food plant based,
Love you, Carl.
like they're only about health communities, and then there's kind of like me, you, Kathy. I feel like the Dr. Campbell's, you got Chef Dell over there. We're all kind of
He knows Chef Yin.
okay. Yes, Chef Yin and Kathy are like tight. Like Chef Yin and her husband stayed with Kathy and Cheryl when they
I
came to
saw
this. I
some of
think
their shows. I
yeah, I
love.
think they're still in the States, but yeah. But yeah, they stayed at Kathy's house and did a show type thing. But if you like Chef Yin, she's another one. Personality goes right in there type thing. It's really nice. You probably know my raw romance, or what's the word for
Lisa's
it?
Raw Food Romance.
Yes, that's another one. You know, like I said,
I
we do
don't know
minor.
her well, and I haven't interviewed her, but I wouldn't be opposed to that. That would be an awesome interview.
From I've seen, I liked her. And there was another. I'll have to look when they did the bundle. There's someone I did a class with that was a raw food chef. Man, I'm blanking on his name. I really liked him. He had a really nice personality type thing because they're all food. Are either sometimes
I
wonderful
think I know
people.
who. It might be someone I interviewed. Now I can't think of his name, but I did on, like, just I think it was back on Memorial Day. I feel like I might have
He kind
interviewed
of
him.
looks like me. He's your typical just white guy. Like he's
Hmm.
probably like my age, maybe. Honestly, I'm bad at choosing ages, so because a lot of people think I'm younger than I am. Granted, if you look at Chef Yin's like I think like she's way. I mean, not saying she's old, but Chef Yin looks like she's like 30, and she's like I think like
Yeah.
50. You know, I'm not saying
Really?
that
Oh my
old,
god.
but
I
she
know
looks
she looks so young, like,
in
definitely.
her
I do
in her
too, Carl. I love all of this community. Like, thank
yeah.
goodness for this community. That's why it's like one of the big things I push is get in groups, whether it's mine, yours. I love the community because that's like how we all learn from each other. Like people that try to do this on their own, especially new vegan, like a lot of us know that we were lucky when we didn't have all this online, because we just, like, until probably my second year, it wasn't really, I didn't find all these good friends that are also vegan. I was kind of isolated about it. Luckily, Dawn went vegan too after a while. So that helps a lot to be in the same house, with someone. But most people don't have that. A lot of times you're the only vegan in your family, and you have to, like, really, and I'm the only vegan in my family, of course, but like in my, family where I grew up, but like a lot of people, their friends, they start to feel like they're doing something wrong being vegan, and the community brings you back to say, okay, no, there is a group of compassionate people that understand and have my same minded thinking.
But the key is to find the compassionate vegans too, because sometimes vegans like on Facebook are tearing down
Yeah,
other
you do
people.
have to be
There's
very
that
careful.
whole I'm the
Mhm.
most perfect vegan. I'm more vegan than you are, or I'm more raw than you
Right.
are. Or you shouldn't be eating fruit, or you shouldn't be eating potatoes. But once again, that's where like me, you, Kathy, Chef Yen,
We can
a
help
lot of the
people ease into
Dell.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just it's our attitude. Like, we're all about the positivity. it's
And
like
Carl
it's
is
not
the
about
most
it's not about being
amazing
self-righteous.
person too. You'll love him,
Yeah. Well,
Lee. He's
everything
so
I'm seeing from Carl, I can already tell. He's a
he's
super,
so
yeah.
he's so supportive of everybody that he is goes to their lives, even if he can only come on a second. Like that's what I do. Like sometimes I'm at work, and thank you, Leek has to come on and tell me because I don't ever get notifications while I'm at work. Sometimes he'll be like, Kathy's live right now, like
Are
the other
you
day.
part of her? Are you part of the Heartbeat group?
No, I'm not yet, and I need to get
That's
in
where they
there.
come up. You got to
Heartbeat,
get in that
I keep
Heartbeat group.
forgetting.
Because in her Heartbeat group, there's certain sections, and there is the movement section, which Cheryl's doing, but Angela Boomer Beyond, she's been doing videos on there as far as that. And then you go down to there's the health book club, and that's me that runs the health book club. So
That's so cool. I
two
want to
of your
run.
main
Maybe I could
communities are
run a
running
joke
that.
club or something. I got jokes. I can do
Yeah,
the
yeah,
comedy
you can do
club.
that. Well, there's a Schreier, and that's a group we started up, and it's just for people to chat about like movies and stuff. It doesn't even have to be about
Oh,
veganism.
Dawn would love
Or
that.
that, because a lot of us are just wanting to hang out. Apple, you know Apple, correct?
Yes.
He's doing a thing 8 days of decluttering as far as that, and it's called with an autism and stuff. It's called doubling. Is you put the video on and you do the same activity. It's not so much your chatting type thing as far as that. So Apple's doing was doing an 8-day thing, and the book she's doing is called the Art of Swedish Death Cleaning.
Wow. I need some decluttering for sure.
Yeah, but it's decluttering and stuff. So everyone's
Oh,
decluttering.
gosh.
I'm trying to do my own. So
Pictures.
yeah, it's cool. And that's the cool thing about Kathy's group is she really lets people do their own thing as far as that goes. So Carl, I highly recommend go join the Heartbeat group as far as that, and you can get raw recipes, non-raw recipes. It's literally just a group.
I guess I could share him from the Veganology group.
Yeah.
Progressive I am of you
Well, and
guys.
it's really good for like vegan curious. I like to say that. Like I
I
said,
want to get in there. I'm like, it sounds so interesting. I love how she's got the little different
oh,
divisions and lets
actually,
everybody participate. I love it.
hang on here though. I just realized I can screen share. So I will show you the
Also,
Heartbeat.
I figured out how to get that picture up for when you're done with your screen share. I'll put up our list.
I'll go ahead and put that up. It'll take me a second to bring this up. Heartbeat group.
So these are the ones that we've came up with for our Monday show. It's going to be Monday at 4 Eastern and 1 Pacific. Is that what we came up with?
Yes, I believe so. Yes, one Pacific and 4 Eastern.
And then whatever it is around the world, we'll have to come up with. But we'll convert it for you.
I'm starting to learn my time zones though. Before
Me too.
doing sometimes Ireland, getting up at 4 a.m., being on Zoom with people from India. The nuns are in New Jersey. They're from India, but a lot of people are from India, and then there's people from. So I'm always, and then I also am part of the international or the International Faith Roundtable. And it's people over the world get together. So I'm always chatting with people like, okay, what time is it my time? Thank God for Google, because I just put in like, what time is it in New York right now? Okay.
I know. Google. What did we do before Google? I have no idea. I was just on with Sky from Australia, but there's somewhere that I always find amazing. I think it's Costa Rica. They are the same time as me, which I was like, what? Like that I was like somebody I was talking with. I think it was when I interviewed Lauren Lockman or maybe it was no, it might have been because Fahad was a different time zone. But yeah, they were like, I said it's 5 o'clock here or whatever, or 6 o'clock, and he was like, yeah, it's 6 o'clock here too. I was like, no way. But I mean, it can happen, I guess, but I'm always so used to it being like the next day or like 12 hours difference or 11 hours.
Well, Alaska's another hour behind me because for a while, Kim, she's really active in like Kathy's group and the physicians group. Really cool person. She's usually part of my book group, but the reason we took this month off is everyone's traveling. So I was like, I don't think anyone's popping up. So, well, let's go through this and then I'll show you the Heartbeat group just so you know what I'm chatting about. So what on this list are you liking? I got 3 or 4 I like, and I kind of got one in my brain I like, but I'm curious to see
we'll read. I'm going to read them out loud for those that might be visually impaired. We've got compassionate living. That's our first one, and not the first, one, but like the kind path. Heart and Harmony, Choices for Change, The Compassion Connection, Living with Purpose, The Conscious Collective, Ethical Life Uncovered, Pathways to Compassion, or The Mindful Movement. So, what you want to say your three, and I'll say my three, and then we can hear maybe Carl has an opinion or whoever else is. If you're here after, feel free to comment and tell
I
us.
want to hear your three first. I'm curious.
Okay, it's hard for me to pick three, but I like compassionate living.
You can pick more than three. I just said I have three. So.
But I think I can narrow it to three. So compassionate living, I like the compassion connection, and I also like the mindful movement a little bit. And then I do like, well, I like, there's a lot of them. I like choices for, I don't know, but those are the three I think if I had to choose.
Well, we have one that overlaps. So my three was the kind path, heart
Ooh, I
and
like that
harmony,
one too.
heart and harmony, in the mindful movement.
Okay, so
my
the
personal
kind path is very is good, and we both overlap the mindful movement. I like heart and harmony too, though. This is a tough decision.
Yeah, I like the way heart harmony sound is kind of why I like it. And then I was thinking about it is we're talking from our hearts and we're trying to bring a harmony as a community together type thing. So
Yeah, that's true. I like
because I
that.
kind of I like all of them, like passionate living, pathway to compassion, but I feel like it kind of, since it's gonna be more of a loose form Q&A, we might talk politics to food to what we're cooking to everything.
Yeah,
As far as that, I kind of felt like, like where I'm doing the, praise and compassion, there's a very big focus, like compassionate living. Because honestly, I kind of want this one out, want to put maybe compassion in that way. If I, be honest, might, piss and moan about Trump, it might look really bad. Like we have the word compassion in it. It's kind of like on my Facebook, like when I post in my Dale Loft group, like I'll be open with my politics. I'm voting, Kamala because I think she is a compassionate person. So I'll put positive, but I will on my regular page make little poke funs at, Trump and stuff like that. But I don't want that to be on my group because that's not really compassionate.
right, right.
That we're not going to be negative in this group, but I do
Uh-oh.
kind of want to be able to be a little bit more loosey goosey.
Carl's got a different one. He's got the compassion connection. Okay, I like that. That's nice.
See, I like that one too. So I think we might have to do a poll. So
Yeah.
as far as
But
that,
the
see,
kind
heart
path,
and harmony, I just also like. I think it sounds like a
heart and harmony.
yeah. As far
I
as
like.
that,
I mean, I would be open to going with that. I like all of these really, and I like
yeah.
the reasoning behind it. And um, you know, I mean, heart and harmony is it's all saying what exactly we're trying to put, like the message of it. You know what I mean? Is just
Well, and I like the idea we're speaking from our heart. So even if I'm being a little bit of a prick, at least I'm still speaking from my heart. Even though speaking from my heart, I'm not being as compassionate as I need to be. Because the reason I call it praise and compassion, not the compassionate person, is I'm praising compassion. That's what I'm striving to do. But unfortunately, I fall
uh-oh.
face on
We
the
got
ground.
another voter here. That makes sense. Oh, Vaughn said heart and harmony and living with purpose. We got it.
Living with purpose. I forgot about that one. That was my other one I liked.
Oh yeah, that was a close, like behind my three too. Let's see. We might have Carl. Heart and harmony is great. He said. Okay, we're getting closer here. Well, we'll see. Thank
Well,
you,
then I was
Vaughn,
like,
for
Heart and
coming on.
Harmony. We can then each take a nickname. You could be Heart, I could be Harmony, or vice versa. Just joking, but
I like that. I'd go with heart.
where is that?
I could be the whole band.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It kind of sounds like a band name. It's the other reason I liked it.
Right.
And we could do a logo H and
Well,
H.
Dawn could come on and sing for us. She could be in the Heart and Harmony group, right?
Oh yeah.
I could play the guitar and she could sing. Actually, I played my guitar today for about 4 minutes for the first time in a long time because we were actually on hold with motor vehicles. I was calling about my tags renewal or something, and see what time they close. And the hold music was like they were playing All of Me, that song by John Legend. And
Oh yes, yeah.
me and Dawn used to have a page called Judd and James where I would play the guitar and she would sing, and there's a couple of things of her doing drums and stuff on there. But like that was, we had like a little group, and it was fun. Not like we never did anything professionally, of course, like she has in bands, but for me and her, it was just for Facebook. And it was so cool because we did that song and it like brought back memories. And I like totally forgot all the chords. I had to look them up, and I'm like, okay, I got to get back to work. But it was fun because sometimes you have a hobby and you forget about it, like, and you just, it's like finding an old friend, like it's like, oh, I remember this. But how it leads you there, it's kind of like how we were talking about the pathway or the evolution of being vegan, like how things, like one little thing you watch or somebody you come across might have put that seed in your mind about compassionate living, and then you just take it from there. Maybe you just do one little thing, or you give up one type of meat, you know what I mean? And then, some of us went all in, but
Yeah.
it's just, I'm all over the place. But that's what you're
Oh
here
yeah.
to reel me in.
Oh no, well no, I go over the place too. Yeah, same. Yeah, yeah. We'll have to have Dawn on too. Also, when now I'm getting more used to things, I definitely need to do an interview with you for my social media. Does Dawn do interviews? I'd be very interested in talking to her.
Yeah, like we're gonna do one together. I think it might be this Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. It might be a different Sunday, but there's we did an interview with the well-being, um Pastor Dina. She has a channel, and her partner interviewed us, and like, so we did it like 3 years ago, and they want to do like a follow-up interview. And in the middle of that, I was like saying toying with tofu, and that's what the name of it was, toying with tofu. And we went on Marakita's channel before, I think,
I
and
don't know
did an
that person.
interview. So, but she'll do the interview by herself. She's a YouTube star. Tell them, Vaughn. She's the
Well, I like to
African
do both
American
of you like
star.
that. I'd be really interested in doing an interview with Kathy and Cheryl, and then you and Dawn, and talking to how the partners became vegan, and seeing, like, I'd be curious how that overlaps, because Kathy was vegan before Cheryl was, and you're vegan before Dawn was.
Yeah.
So I'd be curious because you always hear like whoever in charge of the channel, but I think I even mentioned that. I was like, I kind of like to do interviews with everybody's spouse, like that has their own
Yeah,
show.
that would be a cool.
Everybody's
I would
spouse
be
might be
interested. I would
vegan, and
love that.
say, hey, what's your life like as far as I'm trying to think?
Like the other spouse, like we always hear from the vegan, but like the one that came
Yeah,
second.
yeah.
I like
Well,
that.
no, a lot of them, the other spouse is vegan, but they're not on the channel. Like Chef, like I wouldn't get Chef AJ's too big, but like her husband
You
was
never
it
know.
Chef AJ husband. I heard chatting. I'm pretty sure he's vegan type thing. So then
I'm
you
gonna
got like
tell you this too,
Crocs in the
since you're new
kitchen.
to the channel. Don't be afraid to ask people, because I have almost like fallen off my chair, been so astonished. Like I just ask anybody, like if I like their content, and like a couple of people like surprise me that they actually will come on. So if you have a new channel, sometimes people want to help you out. So definitely ask
Well,
Chef AJ.
I might, yeah. I'm gonna say maybe I can ask. I don't know if you all know Chef Dell. He actually wrote the
Mhm.
cookbook for Forks Over Knives.
You introduced me, I mean, not introduced me, but you actually told me about him. You told me a couple of people. It's like every vegan YouTuber. It's amazing.
Yeah, well, I know yeah. I mean, I dove in 2003 into the whole veganism, went raw in 2004, and because then we get my story, I quit for a few years, and it wasn't for health reasons. The opposite. It was I was not wanting to live much longer, and I knew not being vegan is one of the most unhealthy things you could do. So I purposely quit being vegan and took up smoking and drinking, but that's a whole different thing. But yeah, I have
I'm
been
so
in.
glad you brought yourself
But
up.
I have been. I've been in the culture for quite a while. But I hop back in. So yeah. As far as that goes, and that's another community you need to join is um the CNS kitchen, as far as that, and they do a lot of stuff, and that one's ran by Chef Dell and Charm, and they're really cool people as far as that, and very sweet, compassionate as far as that. A lot of the people you see with their new certified nutrition,
Hmm.
you know who Dr. Campbell is, right?
Yes, yep, of course.
That's his community, his site,
Oh,
and then
okay.
Chef Dell and Charm open up as far as that, and they're really good about like they have like journaling in there. Man, I'll have to actually. let me share first. Let's go back
Yeah,
to cat.
let's go back to that heartbeat thing. Share that because at 7:30, I think I'm ready to
Yeah,
go get some food for
yeah,
everyone.
I do too. I was wanting to get a movie or two in. So, can you? How does this work? I have it there. Do I click on it?
Um, the share screen.
Well, I clicked on the share, and the screen's under my screen. How do I
Oh,
get
you
it
know
on?
what? Maybe I have to put maybe there's something I have to do. I think it was, do you see something called presentation?
Need help presentation.
Oops. Let me see.
Mm.
Here we go. It's gonna come soon. Maybe demo. Let's try that.
Oh,
Does that look
because
good?
I see it. It's in the waiting room. Here, let me try it one more time. Okay, share, cooking, that, entire screen. Let's share.
Shoot. Oh, there we
Here's.
go. I had to click something.
Oh, okay. Is there a way to get me, or am I over the screen in your guys' shot, or is that just
Yeah,
mine?
let me see if I can. I think I got it here. There we
There
go.
we go.
Well, that now doesn't look as good. Can you guys see that? How about that? No, now he's back in. How about this? No. Um,
Hmm.
well, let's do this maybe. Oh, it won't let me change anything now that we've started. I'll have to make sure I do the others. Can you guys see that? Like for me it's too
Yeah,
small.
for me it's too small too.
Let's go back to where we were. Nope. Hmm. Let me try something else here. Let me go to media. See, when I do that, it zooms it in, but that doesn't really help because then
Can you scroll to, or do I have to move it?
let's see if I can do something over here. Oh, wait, I think I remember Dawn told me once. Let me try this. Oh, did I take, no. Oh, that was this one. Okay, let me try this. Can you still hear? No, we can't hear you.
No, I was just I'm trying to figure out things too.
Design. It's so weird when I did the workshop, it had one that said demonstration or something like that. Now it like won't pop up.
If I send you a picture,
Yeah, there we go. Let's do that. I
because
can.
I'll just do a screenshot, and then because what I want to do is just show you the list. Okay,
That's so weird that that just like disappeared, but I think it might just be we're all over the place here. Oh,
all
there
right.
we go. Try that. Can you share now and see if it'll come up on the screen right? It might not.
Okay, let me see. Share. Yeah, it's just same thing there.
What about this? That's not much better. I can kind of see it though.
Well, here I'm going to send you 3 screenshots because the big thing I wanted to show you there's categories. So
Okay.
I guess I'll send. I don't know. I'm going to send it to you through Facebook. I guess.
Okay. That's cool. I can save it from there. My mom just sent me these pictures of me and Dawn from like 2010. Wow, we look so different.
All right, I sent those.
Okay, got it.
And we can do all this. I mean, we were really planning on doing a live video today. So,
I
oh,
know.
also, is it Vaughn? Vaughn? So,
Yes.
just I'm going to let people know when you listen to me talk and stuff. One thing with me, I grew up with a learning disability, so I have trouble getting words flipped around. So, like, if I say Carl, and if I mess up people's names, do not take it personally. It's just my mistake as far as that goes. So
Oh,
yeah.
you're doing great.
So Vaughn, where are you from? Figure
She
I asked.
actually, I met Vaughn through Dawn's. American Dream Trading Group. She is so kind, comes over and supports me on this channel too, and has great questions. So that's where I don't know exactly what part of the country, but that's where I met Vaughn at, or how she learned about veganology.
Nice.
And maybe about vegan.
Are you able to find those pictures?
I got them, and I'm just getting ready to load them.
Sorry, I just want to make sure, because the reason I was asking about Vaughn was giving you time. So I want to make sure you weren't getting sidetracked. Like,
look, oh, you know me already. Look at him. He's already
I was
got
like,
me.
you're
I've got to do that
multitasking.
too.
And we
I'll
never
just
did.
drive past
Oh,
stuff. I'll just start talking.
Chicago. That's my city right there. I live in Chicago. Actually, Vaughn, that's where I went vegan at. Do you know Karen's Raw Food Restaurant? I worked there for a while back in 2004. So, but Chicago is my favorite city type thing. Like, I gotta say, anytime
Did you
I
send
love
me
it.
3 or 6 pictures?
3 is what I meant to, but doesn't mean I did it correctly.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know if I kept clicking save too many times. So let's try this here. Oh, there's a thing for notes. That's cool. There's something new every day. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Design. Let's see if we can do this. Now I got to get us back how we were on the screen at first. Now I don't know what that source is, how I've gotten that up there. Let's hide that. Okay, there we go. I think I have a background that I used to use for like, it had like fruits and vegetables in it too. So we'll have to put that up next time. But let me upload this. I think it's overlay. Let's do image.
Oh, I meant to mention, yeah, Carl, exactly. Passion comes from the heart, even if it's fiery. So I feel like, so did we lean towards any of those names in particular or not?
We liked, I think everybody likes Heart and Harmony, or they had a couple of other options, so we definitely have something to think about.
Living with a Purpose, I saw.
Yeah, and
And Carl liked Compassion Connection.
Right.
And I'll be honest, I don't know if I want to do the compassion because I like Carl said, the heart can be fiery.
Right.
And I worry if I put the word compassion in when we're talking freely, they might expect to put us up on a more of a pedestal than I want to be. Not saying they're putting us on a pedestal, but for you won't be the issue. I'm sure it's me as far as that goes. So I've also had to watch. There's been a few times like I had to make sure no swear words came out. As far as for being a pacifist Jane, I still got some work to do.
We all got work to do, don't we? Okay, here we go. Now I think I got it. I had to save them from my email.
Hopefully, what did you change your vote to, Carl? Okay, Heart and Harmony as well. I feel like that's the way we're going, but I want to make sure I'm not manipulating people because that's the one I wanted.
I like it. Why isn't it letting me save it? Oh, I don't know. Oh, there it goes. Because at first I thought it was because it was your, but it let me. I just had to save it to Google, save it to Photos instead of save it to Camera Roll for some reason. It was being weird. And I've got the third one now saved to Camera Roll. Okay, here we go. Oh, you know what?
So Carl, my Facebook group and channel and everything is actually it's called Dale Off, but it actually means praising compassion. As far as that is a word, as far as that goes. So that is where the compassion connection would be very similar to that type thing.
Okay, here we go.
Even though that is a catchy word, compassion connection. Honestly, everyone on the list was good. Like,
okay, I just had to delete 2 pictures because I must have had too many in here.
You could even do a logo with like a heart over like a heart over a harp or something like that, or a note.
Yeah. We could ask Dawn to help us with the logo design. Okay, that's the one I already did. Is this it?
Yeah, so this is just kind of the whole page is but take a picture, but I wanted to kind of, yes, Dale Off. Dea means compassion in Sanskrit, and loft is an old English word that means praise, and it's only used in parts of Southern Africa now, as far as that. But I purposely was trying to find the smallest word for compassion and the smallest word for praise, and I was going to do two words, but then I was like, I can combine them and make it one word, and then no one can argue about the definition because it's the word I brought. But yeah, dea means compassion, loft means praise, so it means praising compassion. So because that's what my thing is. It's very vegan, obviously focus, because that's very compassionate veganism, but I don't require just veganism. Like I'm going to do stuff with working at why am I blanking out? Homeless shelters, giving back that environmentalist type thing as far as that goes, like any form of compassion as far as that goes, working food banks and stuff. So
I love it.
So if you see when you go in there, you can see these are all different like side things. So the first picture is not as interesting. That's where you'd be in her cooking class. You can see share your food photos, cooking class announcements, upcoming classes. Okay, go ahead and go to the next ones where it gets a little bit more interesting, I guess is the word I should say.
You know what? I don't think. Let me save the next one here. I don't think
Okay.
it's saved all three. Okay, here comes the next one. Starts with KCC questions, right?
Yeah, I just took generic pictures of it. I just wanted to show you the direct direct directory. Blah.
Let's see if this is the right one.
Yeah. I had to be in speech class for a long time at a young age as far as that. One of the most tragic things that happened to me is I had to go practice speech. They watched Gorillas in the Mist, and I was so
Oh.
heartbroken. I remember that was in third grade. So that's why you'll notice I say certain words, like a lot of people, like I purposely speak proper, but it's also because it's easier for me not to get things messed up. Like growing up, I couldn't say excuse me for the life of me, so I always said pardon me, which everyone thought I was trying to be proper, but it's really just the word
Well,
pardon is
you've
easier to
been.
say than excuse. Or I wouldn't say wouldn't, I would say would not, because once
Mhm.
again, wouldn't is more difficult. So okay,
And
so
speaking
this
of compassion, like I wouldn't know any of that, but you never know what people are going through and still like self-conscious of years and years later. So we have to all be compassionate to one another. Like you might, like you said, somebody might say, "Oh, you're trying to be proper," and if they say that, it's like, well, you don't know the reasoning behind it. Like we don't know again what the reasons are, how people are the way they are. So I love the whole. I'm just bringing it all the way back around full circle to the
yeah,
compassion and
well,
the love, you know.
in my early 20s when you're at the bars and I'd try to walk by some of the bros and say pardon me, that's where I'd get the huffy puffy.
Yeah, I bet,
I was
right?
thinking those people are liquored up and they were just looking for something to go for, but I always remember that. So you can see like these are different categories type things. Like Kathy follows McDougal. I don't do McDougal, but I think I think they're all great. Like I think you get help from any of them. So that's where the Mary's Mini. But where you see is some of the newer classes when they had the vegan bundle out, but like they have just general questions. But Kathy has pets. That's just a category Kathy has set up just to show pictures of your cats, and everyone say, "Oh, cute, there's Mookie. Oh, cute, that's Neo."
Oh yeah,
Pictures
and
like
I just took a picture of them 2 seconds ago, so I was about to share it with you guys because I think it's funny. They both lay exact. They take on each other's little positions when they're sleeping. Sometimes they're laying exactly the same, almost like they planned it. Like I told them, lay like this for the picture. You know, both of you tuck your heads under. It's funny.
that. See, you got to be there. You can put that. So, and you can see recipes and food brainstorming. That's the place that people go and bring up ideas for recipes and stuff and throw it past each
Is
other.
this a paid or a free group?
Free group.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. That's one of the ones free to join. So that's why I keep telling people to join for free. So now, if you want to be in Kathy, she has her own cooking classes. That's either I think it's like 50 a month or 25 if you sign up. That you have to pay for, but she does a lot of live stuff. But all this is free. Automatically get in. If you go to the next page,
Okay.
see as they add on stuff is the lower down, and I think the next page is where you'll get the a lot of stuff I was kind of talking about. So
Let me just make sure I got the right one here. Let's see if this one is it. It's so hard to see because these
absolutely,
are
Carl. Own all your beauty that makes up your being. Absolutely.
Is that a good picture for you?
Um, Oh, did I not send you the third picture?
Maybe you did. Let me see if maybe I just didn't send the right ones to my email.
Well, I
Let's,
have a habit of doing that, which would be funny.
let's see. Lee Jane. So I think, okay, I got one that says
It should start.
recipe and food brainstorming. Is that the one I didn't have?
Yeah, the one on it should start on the top of that. Yeah, yeah. I
Yep.
just scrolled down and took a picture.
It was my fault. I didn't upload the right ones.
Well, no, you're supposed to upload all of them. I just couldn't remember which I was going to go down as far as that
My
goes.
eyes are so old, they all looked like they were the same picture, so I didn't know which one I had clicked or not. I bet it was mine. My mistake here. Let's see. You sent it because I have it. So, um,
Hi, Tessa
hey
Jane.
Tessa, good to see you. Own all the beauty that makes your being. Oh, that's what you were reading. I love that. Thank you, Carl. Tessa said, "Hey guys." Hey Tessa.
Yeah, I think me and Carl are very much on the same page. Actually, I'm sure me and Vaughn is.
Yes.
Did Vaughn grow up in Chicago? I wonder. Vaughn, just let you know, Vaughn, I grew up. If you want to talk about my background, is I grew up on I-20 24, but right in between Indianapolis and Chicago. I grew up in Indiana. You can see my. If you ever go from Chicago down to Indy, you'll see my high school about an hour and a half north of Chicago, and you can see my parents' fields, which unfortunately spray a lot of chemicals in, and you can see some of the pig farms as far as that goes. So different life, but so
Definitely different. Like that's amazing
yeah.
that you were
Vaughn knows what a real winter is like too. Well, I forgot you're in Maryland. I'm so used to complaining about people in Washington complaining about winters. I'm like, you don't know what winter is like until you've been in the Midwest winter, or a Minnesota winter.
I don't know what is the problem. There it goes. I'm like, what is with this picture? It doesn't want to come up. There we go. I think I got it now. Can you see that? Is that the right one?
Yes, that's
I
the correct one.
spy a sale. Look at that.
Yeah. So on this page, Tess. So we're talking. I'm Lee Jane. My original name's Ryan. If you're part of Kathy Hester's, you might know me in some of the chats as Ryan LOA. Me and JJ are gonna start doing a live stream every Monday as far as that. So, but I'm showing them the Heartbeat Group, Kathy Hester. So this is where you got the whole food, plant based, no oil discussion support group. I Spy a Sale. That's where everyone's like, hey, the Ninja Creamies on sale on Amazon right now, or different things like that. Everyone's always trying to look out for each other like that. But then you got right now they're doing Ready to Move, and this is kind of a support group for people trying to be more active and stuff. And is it Aunt Boomer and Beyond? She did a few lives on there doing some exercise demonstrations. So Angela, what's Boomer and Beyond's name?
Angela Fischetti.
Yes, Angela. So she's active in that. And then if you're part of, and the group's free, and then the Ninja Creamy book, which you've been advertising, and then the Schreier is the fantasy and sci-fi, because a lot of times in the side chats you start talking about Doctor Who and stuff like that with Cheryl and stuff. So I was like, hey, it'd be fun to have a group that we can just go and say, what anime you're watching, what movie you're watching. That's what that is. And then they got the health book discussion. That's the group I'm running as far as that goes. We're not doing book this month as far as that, but next month they're doing Walking with Petey. Everyone's invited to go. Even if you don't read the book, it's kind of just a support group to discuss things and stuff like that. Oh, did I tell you the author of Walking with Petey's friends with me on Facebook?
Really?
Yeah, there was a person that adopted a dog from Seattle, and I went to congratulate him on his new dog, and I noticed the thing popped up saying Walking with Petey, and I said, I'm like, holy cow, I'm actually doing your book next month. As far
That's
as
so
that goes.
wild.
Yeah. And
So
Apple,
Tiffany
right?
Peterson, you'll have to check out. She watches the live streams here. She's a vegan, part of Vegan Knowledge. I can't remember where I met Tiffany, but she wrote a book, and it's not like a book. It's like about veganism. It's really cool. I'll have to let you
Oh,
see it,
definitely.
share
Yeah.
it with you. Maybe you could do that one. It's kind of a non-fic. I mean, it's not nonfiction. It's a fiction story, but it has to do with like these people who go off to this land where it's just animal, like uh where
What's
they
the name?
live with animals. You know what I mean? It's like she made up the story as a kid. The child in the story makes up the story, but it like comes real. You know what I mean? It's just wild. I can't think of what it's called now, but I have it on my Facebook. I'll share it.
Okay, yeah, send it to me. It's kind of like I want to try to get in touch with the guy that did the Pinky Swear, which is a guy that did it's a vegan kids book, and he did it with his granddaughter. I believe his granddaughter, because her compassion for animals convinced her grandfather to go vegan. It's a book they wrote together. It's really cool. So it's a kids book. So, but yeah, I just showing you for part of Kathy, and then that body doubling. That is, Apple, correct?
I've seen her on a lot on the. I met her in like Chef AJ's chat and things like
Yeah.
that.
Well, she's a administrator of Kathy's chat, but that's her group, and she's doing the organizing stuff like that. And the reason it's called body doubling it is because Apple has high end autism, but a lot of times people like to work at the same time. With me being a caregiver, I'll find this also. Like I'll drive around the car, I'll listen to my music, and my client will do their own thing, but they still like to, even though they're not interacting with each other, it's still doing something, being the same. So that whole body doubling is every Thursday. I think it's at 5:30. She hops on the video. She does read thing from the book, and then everyone, just does whatever they're doing. Like she's straightening up her apartment. A lot of people are cleaning out the clutter out of their closet, but it's kind of a nice, just support group to get, stuff together, stuff like that. So, but that's a cool thing. Like Kathy kind of opens up stuff like that. So, but yeah, you should definitely join that because you can get some good connections and stuff. And it's just a cool community. It's free type thing. So,
Well, that's awesome. Oops, that's so big. I was like, what are some of
yeah.
these pictures? It was the subscribed photos. If you're here, and I think all of you already are, but subscribe and go over to Lee's channel and subscribe, and we'll put everything like in the description. But
My channel's all brand new, so there's only like very little up. So please go and join, but also give it time. Like literally this week is what I'm working on. I put up my first YouTube video today as far as that. So,
that is
but my Facebook group's a little bit more active. So you can find me through JJ's Facebook group. So
that is cool. I think oh, that's her. Kathy has to pick
should
her.
we be letting you go? Because we've gone an
Yeah,
hour
we
and
gotta
20
go.
minutes.
Like, yeah, we and Dawn really haven't had a lot of time today, so we're
Yeah,
gonna eat
let's
probably
do that.
together.
We were originally planning, I think, doing like 15, 20 minutes just discussing.
Look, these guys know me. Every
Yeah.
time I come on, I say, and I tell Ryan, like, we'll start a meeting at like 4:45, and I'll be like, I gotta go at 5:15, and we're on here at like 6 o'clock, right? Like, I always am running over, so I have to like make a time for myself, so I already know I'm gonna go half hour past it, right?
So, but Mondays I think there's 3 people in here. We'll be doing our first official show. It's just kind of like Q&A, like we're doing now, just chat. People can ask
Maybe we
questions.
could call it "What is veganism" or something, even like that.
Well, just to me, our first one, yeah, doing something like really get into the history of veganism and what it means and stuff like that, and about.
I remember I'm the one that started it and made it up, right? Oh wait, I think I got my facts mixed up.
Yeah,
Maybe
a
it was
lot
you.
of people
Dawn
think
did
that.
it.
Yes. As far as
Oh,
that goes.
right.
So, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's going to be fun. Mondays at 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Eastern.
Yes. And
And
are we just
Tessa,
gonna
don't
go
forget
with
to check out your
H&H?
names. We had a poll, or everybody could
Okay,
give
we're
an
gonna do the poll.
opinion. Let me just put it back up real quick. Oops, here it was. This is the names that we were thinking of, and so we had a couple that we liked. So if you're watching the replay, feel free to comment. I think we're kind of leaning towards that Heart and Harmony, if I'm not mistaken. But there's
That's
always
what I'm feeling like, because I know Carl, I believe, voted for it. I'm for it. And I believe Vaughn mentioned
came
that.
around to it,
Yeah.
right? We had Mindful Movement. That was one that we started out both as overlap, but then when Ryan said Heart and Harmony, he made a good point. Compassionate Living, I feel like you said, that's more or less like your channel is dedicated towards compassion, where we can bring it in, but that wasn't the whole focus. So that you changed me from thinking that at first, because I did like that one,
No,
because
I like, honestly, I like
Mind
all of them.
Path
Yeah.
was good. Like,
Yeah.
they're
I just
all
want to,
good. Do
but
you
I
think
was
that's
also
too
want to
long
keep
if
it
we called
broad
it all
too.
10 of them?
What's that?
Do you think that would be too long if we called all 10 of them our name? I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to Compassionate Living, the Kind Path, Heart and Harmony, Choices for Change, the
Well,
Compassion.
as much as we chat and stuff, we would have time for it. So,
Right.
oh yeah, and Vaughn, yes, the winter storm. As far as that goes, Vaughn put down asked about Chicago Lake Shore Drive LSD. As far as that, remember the winter storm. So that was one thing I always say. I do not miss the winters in Chicago. If I could take the weather of Seattle but put Chicago in Seattle, I'd be happy. Seattle's okay. I like Seattle, but it ain't no Chi-town. So Chicago has, because you have your neighborhoods. You know, you got Little India, you know, Little Italy, stuff like that. It's just I'm a big fan of Chicago. I just got to say that. So yeah, well, yeah, that's the thing. Also in the comments and stuff, different series. Like basically, that's the thing. Like we discuss. Like we want people to kind of form what we talk about as far as that. We want it to be a free form and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
As far as that, so like you said, we can do different series. People have different things. Why the chat we want to chat about. We also talked about doing the thing that if someone wants to, if we're having a discussion, they can hop on and talk with us at the same. You have a way of doing that on YouTube.
Share the link, and you guys can come up and talk. We would love to have that. That would be cool.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I like the idea of different series, and really just it's a social meetup, you know. And
let's do a demo.
Maybe like the chat, you know. So we figured why not, you know, bring everyone else in it. And
welcome to Heart and Harmony. Heart and Harmony. Wait a minute, I already got the song. Wait a minute. Okay.
Well, maybe we get Dawn. Maybe we could do it, make it really cheesy, make it like a 70s style.
Yeah, like Dawn could do the music.
That could be fun. Do you ever see WandaVision on Disney Plus? I never watched it, but it's kind of that retro thing.
Oh yeah, I don't think so, but I know the what you're talking about with
like that, but kind of we could have like kind of a theme, almost like an old like 70s, like you know,
a Family Ties type different, or what was that other one? Give Me a Break or something. Good Times or something.
Yeah.
Like those old ones. Welcome back, Cotter.
Yeah, we could have like we should totally do that. We should have a lot of fun with it. Like I said, like our other things, you know, like vegan knowledge, you know, about learning stuff and the compassion. But I think we also should we need to have a lot of laughter and
Heck yeah, I don't think I can help but be with laughter, right? I'm just a jokester too. So
but yeah, I've been messing around with that band thing, but yeah, down the road we might need to think of some theme song type thing. And we can't. You're talking about the tea thing, but maybe like have a cup of tea, a tea and coffee with Heart and Harmony or something like that. So, well, let's keep that for the next show to chat about.
Okay, that sounds good.
So I'm gonna let you
go on for another hour, right?
Time with Dawn. Yes, and hello to everyone that came. And hopefully maybe I'll see you at some point.
Carl, Vaughn. Thank you, Tessa, for coming in. Hopefully you'll be able to check out some of the replay if you ever get a chance. And so we had Carl, Tessa, Vaughn, Dawn, I know, is here in listening in, but just not on the chat. And Lee, thank you so much for coming with this idea and really bringing compassion into the world, and for bringing your channel to us and letting everybody know about it. And for, this is going to be really good because it's not as focused, while we all are focused on health. And I do a lot of stuff on, raw and whole food, and you do too. You enjoy that, but it's vegan is so much.
We're going to talk about that.
There's so much more to talk about. And I'm excited to be able to have a show to talk about all these things that will bring up that new vegans really need to know and want to know. I'm sure.
And even old vegans, social stress, going to families and stuff like that. And just, you can be depressed being the only vegan. So anyhow, we'll discuss that. That's what it's all about. So
we should call it the aftermarket. I'm just kidding, Vaughn. Did you like that? That's Dawn's show.
I was oh no, that's the first thing. Oh, bye, Dawn. Thanks for taking. Sorry for taking up all the time, Dawn. So. All right. Also, give your cats a hug and kiss for me.
Yes. Oh, you know what? I had the picture ready to share of the cats now. I don't know what happened.
Actually, I think that should be our ending for every show. I think we should all say, everyone give your pets or your furry family hugs and kisses.
I like that.
That should be our cutout type thing.
I'm
So.
trying to bring us back on the screen to say goodbye, and it wasn't working. There we go. I'm getting used to this new format. Well, everyone, I like that. We can tell them now. Thank you, Carl. It was amazing that you were here, and thank you. I really appreciate all of you for coming. You have no idea how cool it is that when we have people in the chat, and people here to be with us to give your opinions, right? So awesome. Can't wait to do it. Thank you, Lee. Anything else you want to say in the end?
No, because I'll keep talking, so we should probably cut out. So, all right. Thank you. It was great seeing you all. All right.